Hey, Mortgage Coach community, Dave Savage here. I'm interviewing Kristin Messerli. I don't know if she's on my left or my right. She's above me. We're doing this because more and more Mortgage Coach members are doing more and more lunch and learn events with realtors. A couple weeks ago, I interviewed top loan officers on home buyer events. By the way, I'll put a link below to that webinar. I had 3 mortgage professionals that have hundreds of families go through their home buyer workshops. This particular call we're going to showcase on Realtor Lunch and Learns. Not going to so much talk about how to get them to show up. We're just going to talk about the type of content that you could be sharing. Kristin Messerli gets hired all the time to come out and be the speaker, leader, facilitator of these lunch and learns. She's incredible. She's a great ambassador for Mortgage Coach. And one thing that I know for sure, when Kristin shows up, more apps will get downloaded. So whether that's the Mortgage Coach app, whether that's your Simple Nexus app, whatever app you're using in the marketplace or that's your company app, she's going to drive the realtors to understand them, download them, and understand how you deliver value. So having Kristin at your event, I believe, is a good thing. So Kristin, why don't you, for anybody who doesn't know who you are, although I've interviewed you, I think most of our community does, but just give us a quick backstory on that. And then let's walk them through a success story where you went out and spoke to a Mortgage Coach branch. They downloaded a lot of apps. You delivered a lot of value. Why don't you give us your backstory and then walk us through a success story?
Sure, sounds great. First of all, thank you so much for having me. And Mortgage Coach community, I am in love with you guys. I love what you do and what you offer your consumers. So I'm always happy to promote Mortgage Coach and help you guys be a better success in reaching more agents and consumers. I've been providing presentations and trainings for lenders over the last 4 years on how to better reach today's modern consumers, millennials, multicultural communities, and so in this presentation, I'll share a little bit of a kind of snapshot of what that looks like and giving some insights into how you can better understand today's modern consumers and some strategies into how you can better reach them. So that's kind of a shortened version of what it looks like to do this as a lunch and learn. You can kind of copy the presentation, or you can hire me or someone on my team to do this for you. But I'm always happy, again, to be here as a resource for you. So I'll walk through what that looks like.
Great. So pull up your slides. And I know a lot of folks are going to say, oh, I want a copy of those slides. So Kristin will provide a link to that. It'll be below. You're watching this in our YouTube channel, and below there'll be a link to Kristin's slides. Also, there'll be a link to the call I did, mastermind style call on homebuyer events. And also, I know Kristin will probably mention it throughout the conversation, but I did an interview with a millennial realtor that's doing $20 million a year in volume. And then Kristin and I did an interview kind of breaking that down. I think our conversation was like 3 to 5 minutes, and then the realtor interview was like 15 minutes. I'll put a link below to those, because while I believe that you want to do more lunch and learns, you want to get super successful millennial realtors into these lunch and learns too. Great way to add value and differentiate. I'll hand it off to you, Kristin.
Great, thanks. So I'm going to share a little bit of an example. Like Dave said, this is a lunch and learn I had done with Larry Davis with Prime Lending in Los Angeles. And so what that looks like, and what I encourage you guys to do, whether using our team or not, is to host these events in a place that's very comfortable and where everyone can kind of have a conversation as you're doing the presentation, as in like, contribute to questions or responses, and really include a lot of examples of the value you are offering to their consumers and to them personally. So I always incorporate screenshots of a Mortgage Coach and whatever else that they're using, some other like mobile apps or whatever it is, so that they understand, oh, these are things that I can download right now, or that I can encourage my consumers to use, that enhances the experience. So as a testimonial, Larry Davis was one of the customers I had done this with recently, and it went really well. He felt like we came across with a lot of great ideas to effectively network with different markets, utilize technology, and just overall build your brand as being kind of a go-to resource with today's modern consumers. So like I said, I'll walk through a sample presentation. This is something you can provide, or you can hire myself or my team to provide this for you. And this is a shortened version. If you've seen me live or want to attend one of my events, you're welcome to do that and kind of expand on this. So to start, I always talk about this shift toward this need to change. In today's environment, we have had a lot of disruption in terms of technology and consumer preferences and expectations. And so it's so important that we understand that there's a lot of diversity coming to the table and a lot of diverse expectations as to how you're providing service and what you're using to create a modern experience. So 1 in 3 home purchases today are made by millennials. We have a huge amount of growth in multicultural communities. 69% of the growth in homeownership came from the Latino market. So this is all kind of reflective of this diverse market and need for change in the way that we provide service experiences. Previously, about 60 years ago, the life expectancy of companies was about 75 years. Today, that has dropped to only 15 years. And the big reason for that is this inability to adapt to change. And I know in today's market, in the mortgage community, it's really difficult to adapt whenever we're held back by regulatory compliance and some of these kinds of changes. But our consumers today are expecting a modern experience. And so some of the things that I'll talk about today are some specific strategies you can utilize that are things you can implement today. I mean, utilizing mobile apps and just your approach to the service experience can really reach today's consumers and maximize your effectiveness in today's modern market. So I'll walk through a few of those customer insights and the perspective of today's modern consumer. First is instant service. We always expect as millennials or as modern consumers that we're going to be able to have instant gratification of some sort. As trite as that sounds, that is our experience as past consumers. When I purchase anything, which I purchase pretty much everything from Amazon today, I get it delivered to my doorstep in a couple days or sometimes a couple hours. I can order my groceries from Instacart or Amazon and get that delivered in an hour or two. And but it's not about the delivery of the product. We don't expect to buy a home overnight. Everyone keeps trying to shorten the process, and I get it, and that's important, but the real key to reaching today's modern consumers is having instant access to information and instant ability to communicate with you. So the convenience of communication and information access is key to reaching today's consumers. We expect that we're going to be able to at least quickly talk to you. We know that you have a life and other customers and a family and all this, but the faster you can respond to our questions, even with just a, hey, I saw your question, I'm going to send you an email later today, or hey, I'm going to give you a call tomorrow about this, that just really makes me feel a lot more comfortable as a consumer who is accustomed to having 24/7 chat available. When I buy a pair of shoes from Nike or jeans from Levi's, I can instantly chat with someone 24/7, and they're going to help me find the exact thing I'm looking for. We just kind of live in this environment where that's an expectation. And the desire for information access is a really great thing. That leads me to the third value I want to mention here is this: today's consumers value information and transparency. We want to be empowered consumers and make responsible and informed decisions. And this is, of course, where Mortgage Coach is an incredible asset to reaching today's market. We want to really understand the process to buying a home, and we want to be very clear about our options. And so, if things get foggy because of terminology in the mortgage industry, or because we don't quite understand what the best decision is for us over the next 5 years or however long, that is when we become hesitant about buying a home, period, or become hesitant about utilizing your services. And so the more that we can feel empowered, the better. And I know a lot of people get kind of frustrated about us looking online for this information, because we are just information starved, it seems like. We are just constantly, can't quite eat enough of the information available. and then we come to you with inaccurate, outdated information. But this creates a really unique and amazing opportunity for you. No longer are we looking to you saying, you're the professional, you take care of all of this. Now we're going online and we're doing a lot of research, we're trying to become, prepared ourselves, we're coming to you. Yes, we're going to have some inaccurate information, but then you become the hero and you say, hey, let me walk you through this information. Let's sort through the good and the bad, and let me give you some more accurate information and a transparent view of your loan options or of the home buying process. And then you are just, you stand out among everyone else, and there's no chance that I would be rate shopping you or thinking about working with anyone else, because you are my go-to resource, and you're incredibly valuable. So I would say, more than any other value that I talk about, transparency is the #1 thing that's most important to today's modern consumers. And the last value I want to bring up is this value for social and community impact, which of course is related to this value for transparency. Millennials and today's modern consumers want to know that you're a good person, basically. We want to feel good about who we're giving our money to. There's a Nielsen study done recently that showed that over half of millennials would pay more for a product or service if they knew it had a social impact. And you see that trend across age groups now, but it's very important that millennials know that you're a good person, that you work for a good company, and that we're working together as a team. So showing you're involved in your community, that you're giving back, and that you really care about your consumers getting the best, having the best deal, and making strong, informed financial decisions is really key to winning with millennials. So now I'm going to walk through a few of the marketing and sales strategies that are specific to reaching today's modern consumers. And at every kind of break between talking about an introduction or anything, I pause and ask for any questions. If you guys have any questions that I'm not responding to because I'm on video and we're not live, please send those to me. I'll give you my contact information at the end, but Kristin@culturaloutreach.net, or you can contact me on LinkedIn or Twitter, and I'm always happy to be a resource for you and respond to any questions you might have related to this topic.
So I want to put a shout out on that too, just because I am dedicated to your success in the mortgage industry, specifically folks in the mortgage coach community. And Realtor Lunch and Learns are a huge opportunity. Getting knee-to-knee, face-to-face with agents so that you can tell them stories and you can demonstrate strategies. So when I think of where most loan officer relationships are at, it's like this level 1 relationship, where they see you as someone that they like, they trust, that you'll keep your word, and that you'll close on time. And by the way, that's good. You can't get business without that level 1. But where I want to take you guys, and why I bring Kristin in, why I do calls like this, is I want to take you to level 3. First, level 2. Level 2 is where they believe that you are someone that will help them convert a buyer. Like if they have a buyer that's, might be working with other agents, they know you will help convert. Or if they're an agent that goes through a lot of buyers, they do a lot of direct marketing, they want to use you to help convert more buyers. And a lot of mortgage coach loan officers do that. But level 3 is when they see you as someone that creates urgency and clarity, not just pre-quals, closes loans on times, but creates clarity and urgency for the family. And I tell you, that's hard to do. You could do it in a one-on-one meeting with a realtor where you ask great questions, deliver advice, pull out your app, tell stories, and explain strategies of how you create urgency. And you could do it in Lunch and Learns. So, couple thoughts. If you have questions or more content you'd like me to create, you're watching this on YouTube, comment below. There's a comment area. Also, I'll probably post this on Facebook and LinkedIn. Give us some comments. Tell Kristin and I what you want. She is an amazing friend and ambassador of Mortgage Coach. She loves getting in front of realtors, so she wants to help you create impact and get more referrals from them. She wants to help you get them to download apps and understand how you create urgency and clarity. So reach out to us and give us comments wherever you're watching us. Anyways, back to you, Kristin.
Great, thanks so much. So talking about some of the strategies to better reach modern consumers and also modern realtors, one of the main things that is very easy to do is just provide a quick response. When someone has a question, if you just respond quickly, saying, hey, I'm going to get back with you later today, like I mentioned before, that means a lot to the modern consumer that's accustomed to that kind of quick communication. But also utilizing multiple channels of communication. So we've talked about mobile apps a little bit, but utilizing, like in Mortgage Coach, your ability to make a video and things like that, that is very meaningful in terms of getting to know, or your customers getting to know you and providing kind of quick responses, but in a format that's very personal and personalizing. Technology should always enhance relationships. I think, by the way, that we often separate those and think millennials are all tech driven and don't want relationships, but that's actually completely opposite from the truth. We want more relationships and we want more of a personal connection and relationship, and so use technology and different forms of communication as a way of doing that. So building relationship and trust with video is a great way to do that. This is an example, again, from the presentation I did with Larry Davis, where he's sharing video, and I hear from loan officers across the board how incredibly important it is to, or how successful they are just through doing short videos, because people, even myself, and I'm sure Dave experiences this, where people feel like they already know you by watching your videos. They get to know you a little bit, and you're sharing yourself and your personality and your value through video, and so you get beyond those that skepticism a lot faster because you're putting out content that's valuable to your audience. So there's a few ways you can do this. One is through creating short videos that you post on Facebook and YouTube, and you share responding to common questions of your customers, keeping those, of course, always short and to the point, but then also by responding personally. One of the interviews that Dave had done with a real estate agent that's a top millennial realtor, he talked about one of the reasons he loved the loan officer that we were talking about was because he had texted him a short video kind of introducing himself and what it was like to work with him or something to that effect. But that personal touch that just doesn't take long from your smartphone, you just text it over really quick, that makes a very meaningful impact. It helps you to develop that trust and relationship, and again, is another amazing feature of the Mortgage Coach app, and being able to create those total cost analysis with a video alongside it to add value in that relationship. So second major strategy is to lead with information. As modern consumers, we are bombarded with tons of information and we want it all the time. So again, I talked about this before, but you have to set yourself up as the go-to resource and the leader of information. So we're going to come to you with all this information we've done, or research that we've done, or maybe we're coming to you just asking lots of questions, but where you add significant value, where we don't look anywhere else for another loan officer or professional in the industry, is when you are able to guide us through that information. So don't just give us a handout or a first-time homebuyer handbook, which I do think are great, but really utilize Mortgage Coach, use apps and third-party research that you can share with us that helps to create empowered consumers. So here's an example from that presentation I was talking about that I did as a Realtor Lunch and Learn with Larry Davis, and I was talking about Mortgage Coach. So in these presentations, you can show this is an app that we utilize. Here's Mortgage Coach. Here, like, download it, and kind of talk your audience through how they can utilize some modern value that you are able to offer in the moment. And talk through what that looks like, some examples. This is me presenting on why this is very valuable to them, but Larry also came up and like led people through downloading this and kind of creating an experience from that teaching moment. And then lastly, and of course there's a lot of other strategies we can get into, but I want to keep this short, is talking about social media and mobile technology. Mobile first is the key to success right now, and it's going to continue to be. And social media is so critical when we're talking about reaching today's modern market. And in fact, it's critical in thinking about reaching anyone. Baby boomers are the leading, or they're leading the growth on Facebook, and everyone's utilizing social media as a form of relationship building and news and connection. So, a few things to keep in mind as you're using social media is to be consistent. One thing that I think a lot of people think of social media or customer reviews as something that's nice to do if you have the time, but I don't think a lot of people don't realize how much people use it to influence their decisions. So we might get a strong referral, like, yes, use the Davis team, and definitely check them out. But we've also gotten 2 other referrals, and we're going to Google each one of those, look each of them up on Facebook, look at their customer reviews, and then make a decision. So what does your online presence say about you? Does it communicate to me that you are someone that's going to provide valuable expertise, that you're someone who's trustworthy and that I could have a relationship with, someone who's a good person, who's appealing to all of those values that I talked about before? And one of the best ways to do that is just to post consistently. And the second thing to keep in mind with social media is to post authentically. Be genuine and have your genuine voice. You don't need standard posts that are like, I mean, you can share valuable content. Sharing expertise is really important, but also sharing photos of you in your community or doing an event. That shows authenticity and also shows your involvement in your community, and it helps to develop those relationships. And then customer reviews are also another big influencer. In fact, 88% of people say they trust customer reviews as much as personal referrals. And that's people in general, not just millennials. I mean, everyone is looking to customer reviews to make their decisions. Now, I think it's different from a consumer product. A lot of people say people just use customer reviews to decide on what restaurant to go to. That's definitely true, but we also use them to make any purchasing decision. Like I said, we're not looking at 50 restaurants or 50 loan officers, but we're looking at 3 or 4. We're looking at a handful of people and looking at customer reviews to make our decisions as to whether or not we're going to choose to work with them. And some people that really get going with their customer reviews are actually getting a lot of leads through those platforms as well. So overall, again, I would love to support your growth with realtors and bring value to your events. I can do that by sharing my expertise as a kind of expert in reaching millennial and modern consumers, as well as sharing the value that you have to offer to your agents. So, and then again, like Dave, I would love to be a resource for you ongoing. So if you have any questions that come up, always happy to support that. I just want to share a couple of screenshots of this presentation again. It's always important to incorporate what you're using. Like in this example with Larry, he utilized List Reports, Mortgage Coach, and there were a couple others that we incorporated. But make sure you're including that not as a sales presentation, but as a value add presentation. And then my company also offers a service through betterloanofficer.com where we provide social media content that's curated from valuable resources online, including Mortgage Coach. Some of Dave's videos are on there, and some of the content we've created, and then you can quickly and easily share those on social media. And we also have a bunch of courses like the content that you saw today that are accessible, and these are great things that you can share with real estate agents as well, like webinars and things like that. So if you have any questions or would like to talk about booking me or anyone from my team, you can email Kristin@culturaloutreach.net, or of course leave a comment, and I look forward to hearing from you. So thanks, Dave, for having me on.
No problem. So let's wrap this up. So you want to get groups of realtors in a room. You want them to see you as a level 3 lender, someone that keeps promises, closes loans on time, improves conversion, and most importantly and most uniquely, actually creates urgency and clarity for buyers. Not just around the loan, but around the home, buying the home. Should I move up into a bigger home faster? Hey, I'm getting ready to make an offer and there's 7 offers coming in. Should I make an offer that's going to win? a mortgage coach loan officer can make that case a lot better because of the way we use mobile apps. And I have to believe the lenders that would, use Mortgage Coach, would use Kristin, you have other apps. You have HBM, you have Simple Nexus, you have a tech stack, and that tech stack is designed to make you more efficient. And it's important that realtors realize that, hey, you do business with me, I'm going to save you time, I'm going to get better conversion, I'm going to do all these things better. So Kristin is a great ambassador to Mortgage Coach. Hire her to come speak at your events. At Mortgage Coach, we want to help you deliver that better conversion, that more clarity, and we want to help families make better decisions. So I put a few links below. If you got value from today's call, like it, share it, comment, ask Kristin and I questions. And Kristin, it's always fun creating content with you. Great job.
Great.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.